pull up my YouTube chat because I actually don't rely on StreamYard's chat for that because it's a little too slow.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're watching, just so you know, I can read you better on the YouTube chat than I can on the StreamYards, just because StreamYards is like at least a minute and a half slower, if not worse sometimes. All right, so I'm back again. It's been a good half an hour since the last time I was streaming, and anybody who's joining us right now, welcome, welcome. I think it's the two of us, technically.
Rawr. I stole your gimmick.
It's also the fact that I have this like old man as my avatar today, and it's just I did it for Bloodwing because I wanted to just like hear him snickering in the back of his mind, you know, every time he looked at this picture because he knows the reference. Even if he didn't watch as religiously as I would have as a Canadian and you know that age group, but I don't doubt he knows this show. But how's it going, Functional? How are you doing?
I'm exhausted. Yeah. Sleep is weird. So I might be a little slow on the uptake today, but I've got breaking news.
Woo! What's the breaking news? Do you want me to share the screen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So professional. We're so professional.
I like asking like that too because it's Blind Girl is here, but she. Oh, we got
Blind
a
Girl's
girl.
just
Hello.
in time for the breaking news. Hey, Blind Girl.
I even say it so badly, like, we got a blind girl. And it's just like, wait, what?
You have a blind girl. Yes, you do.
Yes, we do. Maybe if Functional ever slept, he wouldn't be so tired. Hint, hint. I'm not that much different, you know? I have weird cycles where I'll have days where I'm just wired, and then other days where, like right now, I'm going through the adjusting to the overabundance of darkness in my province. So my sleep schedule is like at nighttime, you know, I'm about ready to watch Monkey in the morning, and I'm just like, you know what? I can't do it. I just cannot do it.
Yeah, that weird darkness thing almost all the time is so weird. I've lived here my entire life. I still just don't get used to it.
Yeah. It's just as easy enough to sleep in the afternoon as it is at night, in all honesty. Like, it's one of those things, like, I used to take little naps before my night shifts. Like, you know, I'd have a proper sleep and then maybe an extra little, like, 30 minutes just beforehand so I'd be fresh and ready. But my older years are more like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. You really got to structure your sleep or you're going to suffer for it.
Yeah. I suffer a bit from insomnia, not to mention, like our old friend, the bloviating simian, sometimes lying down is just more painful than sitting or standing. So screw it. Stay up and watch people stream or play video games or both, or look at the news.
Now that's
wait a minute, or look at the news. Does that not put you to sleep, sir?
No, it excites me. I've been known to go on quite the exorbitant rants about news that's just like what the fuck kind of stuff.
Same. Very same.
I mean, sometimes it's just hard not to.
Agreed.
Like, you sometimes you're just in disbelief of what you're reading and watching, and sometimes it's just like so good, like, can this be true? Sort of like Camel Toe Harris dropping out of the 2020 Democratic race to be president. Thank God.
You have your own nicknames going or something?
Who, Camel Toe Harris?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris. Camel Toe Harris.
Yeah, but I mean, I
thought it was
I've never gone to that kind of lengths to nickname a Democrat, but I like it.
I got that one from Monkey.
Yeah, but that's probably where I picked it up from.
Are we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably where I picked it up from.
I mean, I don't doubt that Monkey ripped it off of somebody else, too. It's just kind of how internet goes. Although he'll probably claim that he invented it.
Monkey also claims that he invented peanut butter.
At most, he can claim that he's created a soup that is made from cereal. Yes.
Okay, Elwin, why are you singing The Sound of Silence like you're all by yourself in a hole?
Because I was complaining about how long darkness lasts over here in terms of my sleep schedule. Like I'm still adjusting to like sun appearing at like maybe 8:30 in the morning and then disappearing at 5 o'clock. So like I'm just not sure. My brain is still like, when am I supposed to be sleeping? Because I'm usually more of a night animal than I have been lately. And then at the same time, it's, I don't know, constantly needing coffee, which isn't a bad thing.
Wow. Did you just say eating coffee? What, do you just eat it out of the can? Just be like, you know what? Water makes me bloated. I'm just going to eat this coffee.
I drink it like I eat it, though. I think I consume it like I think it's going to fill my stomach. And it's like, no, you don't really do that.
I eat coffee beans. I like chocolate-covered coffee. Oh, chocolate-covered espresso beans. Oh. I could eat the entire bag and just be wired for like fucking 3 days straight going, I can't sleep. What the hell's wrong with me?
And just I wonder why you're not divorced after you do that. Just saying.
Just exacerbating my already existing conditions.
Yeah, I remember being like 5 and finding a little container of those in my mom's, like in the back of the cereal cupboard. And I thought they were like peanuts, but they were just really burnt peanuts. And so I was like super wired that day because I ate all of them. I think there was maybe 10 in that container. Like there wasn't like tons, but 10 coffee beans for a small child is more than enough.
And I think their suggested serving is like 3 to 5 as like, you know, a pick-me-up snack. You don't eat an entire bag.
Yeah. So I was just like running around and my mom's like, why are you so hyper? I'm like, I don't know, Mom, but you have poor chase and chocolates.
Hey, Pumpkin Trucker. How's it going, bud?
Dad, don't you dare dead name him.
Hi, Trucker.
You're dead naming him, man. That is illegal in Canada, sir.
This isn't Twitter.
I'm sorry, Trucker Matt. He's not down with the times.
Totally not.
I have to remember to sub to your channel when I'm done. It's one of those things where, like I said, that like I would follow and promote your stuff for a little bit because
Scotty told me to change channels, so drop him a sub. Yeah,
just so I can help chill you out and build you back up a little bit and just because that's
what all the autistic kids, he'll be fine. And you know what? That sounds like I'm making fun of autistics, but it's actually true. Trucker's channel was best for the autistic kids. They're like spazzing out, and all of a sudden there's just road and cars, and it's like giving them sedatives. It's great. Unfortunately, Trucker's the only one that showed up after my shill, but that's because I can't Twitter shill because, I got banned off Twitter because I was a naughty girl.
Oh.
I haven't done that yet, but nowadays you never really know. Like the last argument I got into is probably one of the only ones that I really got into, and it was really about that nurse. So, and I didn't say anything rude or use any foul language. I just pointed out to a guy in very polite terms that he was kind of a pussy for bitching about it. But like I said, it was very polite, very Canadian of me, passive aggressive. So I'm not really that worried about it. But nowadays, honestly, you don't need to use coarse language to get banned off Twitter. It doesn't really seem like you need to do much to get banned off Twitter. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, and calling a guy a pussy is participating in toxic masculinity talk. You do know that, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I didn't say it like that either. It was mostly just like, the person, that's complaining like this, maybe the reason you're so upset about it is because, like, you're basically, you're offended by what they've described because it's you. Just basically pointing out, what was clear. But like I said,
you're allied to the patriarchy, aren't you?
Oh, I probably am. It's just one of those things where, like, you point out the truth to somebody, and it doesn't like I said, you don't need to use bad language. I think anymore. It doesn't seem to be the case half the time. Sometimes with Monkey, like there's times where I'm like, you use some words that were no-nos. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to use them. I think you should, but Twitter does have the rules. So I got a Minecraft and a Scotty. Hi.
Oh, by the way, Jen, did you hear about the Alberta Saskatchewan bailout yet?
I haven't. I heard there was stuff that happened at the legislature yesterday, but I haven't found an article on that because something happened with a suicide. But what you just said is completely new too. So
yeah, I haven't heard that either.
Yeah, well, basically, Alberta and Saskatchewan are like, dude, you guys free up federal funds for Newfoundland. You should give some to us too. And then all the premiers got together and the territories, and it's funny because they're like all 13 provinces and a couple of territories, and I'm like, you couldn't even just say 3, could you? I guess we're all still angry that none of it exists. But you're like, we are going to free up funds for the natural resource provinces. They wouldn't even say your name. They just said natural resource oil pulling provinces who are in a little bit of a downturn right now for various reasons. And I'm like, so you're going to bail out Alberta and Saskatchewan because you guys are all fucked up with climate change. All right, got it. And then they're like, Ottawa, you should do something about it. I'm like, hey, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I don't need to bail out Jen. What the hell, Jen? You can't get your own finances in order? I got to bail you out now?
Well, it's not that we need to be bailed out so much as that we've been screwed for the last 5 years. So, yeah, you might have to bail us out. It's one of those things where, like, if you kick the ATM enough, it stops working.
All right there, bud. I guess I'll give you extra dollars there.
It's not even about the dollars. It's more about the fact that, like, even if we have the money, it doesn't matter, because if we can't invest it into future businesses, we're just going to end up in the same hole.
Oh, well, we're just going to shovel you guys a bunch of money. So,
it's
that's the big deal.
That's how they're trying to make this climate change work. It's like, well, if we give you money, maybe you'll shut up. And it's like, well, we'd much rather be able to provide for ourselves. Thanks.
Yeah, we're just going to throw money at it. You know what really irritated me about this, though, is they just kept going, Ottawa got to do it. Ottawa got to do it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you realize Ontario has a higher debt than most small countries, right? And we're a freaking province. Yeah. How are we supposed to help you at all? Matter of fact, why don't you go bother Quebec? Go bother them. And you know what? Since you named off the Newfies, you know what? Get them to play the fiddle on the side of the road for a bit and get them to fork it over too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That too.
Newfies, they can give you a pile of fish. That'll help your economy.
Especially Quebec. And same with BC too. It's another one that it's not, it's not like they're rich in BC too, but honestly, Vancouver, if you want to dictate to like half of Canada what it is they can and can't do with their resources, because my whales that I don't give a shit about.
Well, not only that, but you guys are neighbors. Matter of fact, I think British Columbia is obligated to give you guys money just because they're closer by proxy, and the fact that they've decided to turn into California. If they want to be liberals, then throw more money at it. Us
California,
you're going to keep the dollar. Thank you very much.
They've transformed into New Hong Kong. What do you mean, California?
Hi, Green Thunder. Hey, TC.
Hey, Green Thunder. Hey, TC. No. BC is the new communist California. Don't you know?
It's a joke, blind girl. Relax.
I know.
Sorry, I as I was saying before you got here, I'm just tired, so I might be a little slow on the uptake and have even worse jokes than Cryptic.
And then again, it's not even just BC. Like I said, it's mostly Vancouver and Victoria. I just want to tell those two buttholes to shut the fuck up and stop telling everybody else what to do. It's just
Southern fucking Ontario.
It's because they're ruining it for everybody else, and they're making things more difficult. And to be quite frank, they're full of shit. They don't care about the environment. They spew more sewage into the ocean than anybody else. Like, between Quebec and BC for just being complete hypocrites about everything. On that level, I'm just saying.
And you know what? I think the entirety of that province needs to answer for Yaniv. Just saying.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, because they opened the door to it. And they honestly, for the few channels that I do follow where they're trans people, they're just like, you know what? He's set the movement back at least 20 years.
Absolutely.
You know, he has set the movement back 20 years. And the reason he set it back 20 years is because they've enabled him to. They opened the door for him to.
Uh-oh.
And they're still opening the door to it because they still don't really understand what the situation is. It's like I've actually been following a couple of lesbians on YouTube lately, just to see what their perspective of. Well, because you know what, the thing is with the lesbian group is they have this belief that a lot of the transitioners to male are just lesbians who feel like they can't express the fact that they're a lesbian anymore. That it's easier to just transition into a man that admit that you're a lesbian. And it's just like, what? Where's that coming from? And she's like, yeah, like that's just the thing. Like, if you look a little bit boyish as a female lesbian, they seem to push each other into hormones and things like that. And a lot of it, she said, it's not dysphoria so much as it's body dysphoria. You know, it's not gender dysphoria.
They're trying to eliminate the word dyke at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously. And I think that's why the highest percentage of TERFs are freaking lesbians. They're lesbians. All the TERFs that I've had the pleasure of running into at Starbucks are lesbians.
And it's like I said, it's one of those things. Like, I don't like jumping into that movement because I don't want necessarily to get involved, but I do kind of want to understand what the situation is, like what the argument's about, what it is, like what it is that's really going on, because you know that it's one group affecting the whole lot. It really is one group affecting the whole lot.
The trans. I blame the leftist / LGBTQ ideologue / trans, but they're just like, no, it's all the trans' fault. I'm like, nah, I think there's a few people in there. I think, you know, like, you know, some of the lesbians that were boycotting the freaking chicken place there in Toronto.
Chick-fil-A.
There we go. It's their fault too. And the TERFs are like, no, it's only the trans. And I'm like, and this is why I go to Starbucks, because their coffee is jet fuel mixed with bleach. But you want to have a colorfully interesting day. Put on some shades and go inside Starbucks and look as gay as you can. Just saying, you know you're a jerk when you're wearing shades indoors, but I'm blind, so I got it covered. And I just sit in a corner and I watch. Just
the other part of it too.
Enough, the TERFs and the lesbians and the trans all fight in the same line.
Yeah. The other one too that I find is a problem for that group is the allies. It's one of those things where I will declare all the time that I refuse to become an ally to any group. I'll be your friend. Like, regardless of where you lean in terms of sex, I honestly don't give a shit. It's none of my business. But I won't ally myself to the group because of the simple fact that I can't cover for every person in that group. Like, I can't say that I align with every person in that group. So I refuse to become an ally. But a lot of the problems I see stem from allies in the group who just like twist things, you know? And it's I'd almost say it's almost typical Dem. I would say, like, you know, the way they twist things with race, they do it with the LGBT too. It's very flat out what they're doing. And it's very manipulative, and they act like people can't see what they're doing, but it's just, we don't really have like the same terminology as you would, like, you know, if you were seeing someone doing that to a group of black people, you would call them a racist for it, and you'd be right. But we don't have that same wording towards the gay community. And it's just, you can't point it out without being, oh, well, you're just a homophobe or whatever phobe. And you're just like, no, I just see you being manipulative. And I see you like manipulating people, and it's kind of gross.
By the way, I'll be right back because before you told me 10 minutes before you were starting, I ordered groceries 2 hours ago. I'll be right back.
No worries.
Food.
I'm kind of in a similar boat, guys. Like, I mean, we're probably gonna still have this go for 2 hours. Like, I don't doubt that that's gonna be something that we can do. But I might have to leave a little bit early because I'm limited to my transportation, and one of my brother's friends is helping us out with getting some groceries, and we have to do another side trip. So it's one of those things where I have to squeeze that in. But like I think it might be okay. It's just I'm relying on guys that have this problem with texting my brother just to give him like heads up. Get ready in 20 minutes. I'm coming. Oh, can you let your sister know? Oh, okay. But yeah, that's how I've been viewing the LGBT movement. But it was kind of interesting watching this girl. Like I don't know her last name, but her first name is Ariel, and she's a lesbian. She's she's like, I don't really like being penetrated. That's why I'm a lesbian. I don't like the idea of somebody putting something in my body. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. That makes sense why you would be a lesbian.
Fucking weird, dude.
Like, but a lot of what she was saying is just like, it's an insight that I wouldn't have seen, So like, okay, I'll be a little bit brave. I'll start watching some of these guys. It's just some of them, when they start talking, I just tone them out because they just go to these levels of like unicorn farts that I can't handle. You know what I mean?
Sort of, but not really.
It's when they go into fairy tale land,
I just don't expose myself to this stuff. So like, I kind of know what you're talking about. I just don't know the specifics because, yeah, I try to avoid stupid unless it's funny, and then I can laugh at the people.
It's one of those things where like I'll dip in every once in a while just to see what's going on, or like see if there's any information that I can get, and then I dip back out because like sure enough you're gonna see something where you're just like, yeah, they're gassing me with unicorn farts. Mm-hmm. That's how they get you in. They get you into a room, they fill it with unicorn farts, they gas you.
So they really are modern day Nazis.
And then you wake up and you're just covered in glitter. Kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, maybe not about the glitter thing. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows about glitter and gay pride parades and.
I wonder what weighs more, glitter or ash? Never mind.
What's easier to get off?
Ash.
Yeah.
Glitter. You'll find glitter from like weeks later.
Skittles. Skittles in the chat?
Apparently.
Where's Skittles? Unless we're talking about a different person, because I always associate Skittles with Dax.
Oh no, Mr. Misanthropic, and he's at the gym. Look at me, I'm at the gym.
Hey Eminem, are you working on not being such a fat man? Good job, bud. Good job. Work that ass. Like I told you, man. Work that ass until your pants split down the crack. That's probably what the dudes are thinking, because he is kind of gay. That's why you taste the rainbow.
Just a little tip for you guys: if you're blessed with a cotton candy machine, you can actually legit use Skittles to make cotton candy. They have just enough of the right sugar type in them to make cotton candy, and it tastes like Skittles.
And here I thought it was just because his taint looks like a rainbow. Wash your damn ass, son.
Wash your pants, wash your pants, wash your ass. I don't know. I remember that from this girl that I went to middle school with, who wore the same pair of pants for a year.
Oh, like, stop sneezing.
After like the second month, that was basically what the guys would say to her all the time. It was like, wash your pants, wash your ass. And I was just like, you could get another pair of pants, right? You could.
Well, how do you know that she didn't have like 20 pairs of the same pants?
Because she didn't.
Yeah, but like,
oh,
are they washing pants and ass at the same time? Because they're definitely doing it wrong. Just
I mean,
saying.
she did wash them. It's just she just it was one of those things. Like I don't know. She was like I wash them every 3 days. So I'm like, okay, well that's not like horrible or anything. But at the same time, I was like, you still could get like another pair of pants, right? Like I know you really love this pair, but
Dude, when I love pants, I buy like 3 pairs of those pants, man.
Yeah, exactly. You find that like perfect pair of jeans, I'm buying 3 of them.
Yeah.
Or 5, if I can.
Because that's the only way to go, once you find a good fitting pair, especially for women. Because like jean companies are like the patriarchy, seriously, because ever since those freaking hipster jeans came out, it doesn't matter what pair of jeans you buy, the minute you bend over, the world's seeing a crack. Free air conditioning in the summer, but in the winter it's just chill in the ass, man.
Yeah,
and remember kids, crack kills.
I remember back in the day, the problem with jeans was they all seemed to want to go up to your armpits. And then it was like lowriders. Everything had to be a lowrider. And then everything had to be like skinny jeans, which work for some people, but they certainly don't work for everybody. They really don't.
Especially fat ones.
Yes, they really don't.
Hope she's not watching.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those things, they don't really work for everybody. And the other one too is like pants with crap pockets. It's like either you're gonna add some pockets to these pants.
No,
or you're
that
not.
is patriarchy.
Yeah.
That is, there should be the pants that have the fake pockets where it looks like there's a pocket, but there really isn't one there.
Yeah.
That is
Those are the worst. Those should be
advertising.
false advertising. Yeah.
Yes.
You should be able to sue.
It's like pants with no pockets are useless. I know they're supposed to cover your ass and your vagina and stuff, but I mean, pockets, that's what they're actually for. Carrying shit.
Mhm.
If you've ever heard the George Carlin stuff argument, that is what jeans are for. Your stuff.
Yep.
That's basically it. That's always what made me mad about pairs of pants, especially for girl pants. Like more often than not, they don't give you pockets, and you're just like, okay, listen, ladies, at the top who are designing shit. Not all of us have desk jobs. Not all of us keep like the million-mile nails because we keep stuff in our pockets because we use them. And even for like more fancy pants, like if you're working in an office, like there's chances that you probably do want to have pant pockets. Sorry, but you carry stuff in those jobs too. Just saying, they're handy. And nobody.
Why is your face cold?
His face is cold.
Yeah, he goes, oh, by the way, blind girl, my face is cold. Wuss. You don't live in Canada. You're not allowed to complain about the cold.
Did you like shave your beard or something?
Probably.
You could always. No, I'm not. I don't know anyone talented enough for that. I was just thinking like, some people have like face coverings, like, masks or things like that. You should get one that's like knitted so it looks like a beard,
You should just get a full face helm like mine. Hide yourself from the world permanently.
Rose requested. And just so you guys know, I'm not saying that you should leave my stream because you certainly shouldn't, but you should at least play Bloodwing in the background because he's doing his premiere for his Redneck Trek, which is why he couldn't join us today because he's releasing that, and his time limit is frustrating him because he's figuring out his new job and stuff like that. But listen to me, but play him in the background. That's all I'm saying. I can't do that though because my computer would crash. And I did my due diligence. See, I held to my promises, and I do shill for people. So, like, if you ever come onto my channel, or if you ever let me on your channel, just so you know, I do shill out your stuff. It's just let me know in advance so I know to do it. Otherwise, I'll forget, or I'll miss it, or I'll start watching a YouTube channel and completely forget that I'm doing other things.
Trucker.
She didn't want her thighs to be tickled. Oh, is that what she said?
That's exactly what he's talking about. Just saying, Rose being his wife, requested him shave. Yeah, he's talking dirty again. He's a dirty pumpkin eater. Good job, buddy. Good job.
So what you're saying is she doesn't really like the Osama bin Laden tickle me Elmo eating habits of the manhunter beard when he's on the hunt for clams.
Honestly, I thought that Rose might get a little like annoyed with you because for some reason, since Trucker met all of us, he's had to shave that beard twice. And apparently, he used to like it, so now it's just stubbles all the time.
Is she a masochist? Does she like the prickly feel? Is it like Velcro for her?
How blunt am I to be? You know what? As this is the first stream I've been on with 3 Canadians. Go for it, Trucker. Go for it.
Blunt as a baseball bat. No, a cricket bat.
There's so many things funny about this conversation, but yeah, like just like I said, just imagine a beard that's made out of like, wool. It's a knit beard. It looks like a scarf, kind of material. So like you bump her up with that thing. I mean, it won't hurt. It won't tickle. She might have some like yeast infections from the little threads that might get up there, but
I just imagine before like the beards got a little hitched like Velcro, and then one day they both shave and she just slides right off of him now. Like a bad cartoon.
Wow. We definitely got hit with the blunt bat.
Oh, Functionally even has stuff that I can share. Let's move on to an article and get off of the eating out girls. At least
that what we were talking about?
I think we were. At least wives. I mean, there's a marriage involved, so I mean, we're not. I mean, it was consented eating. It was home cooked.
I hope it was consensual. They're married.
All right. Premier Mo Ford Higgs to collaborate on development of nuclear reactors in Canada.
Yes, doing something the federal government refuses to do and have the provinces cooperate. So, the premiers of Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and Ontario had gotten together and they want to build some fucking nuclear reactors. What we call, small modular reactors.
Death traps. Death traps! Sorry, I had to. Love you, Owen.
I'm surprised that Ontario signed on for that.
I'm not. Ford is pretty pissed that about the whole Hydro One thing and wants to reinvest in Ontario, which one of the few pluses I'll give him. And energy generation has been traditionally one of our go-tos. And, this is also a good way to stick it to the climate cult activists that, demand that climate change needs to be battled, which, nuclear is a really good fucking option. I just wish that they went to lift.
Ontario and Quebec make a huge profit off of selling that shit to America,
Yeah. We're not making as much as we should due to poor contracts, but increasing our yield would be incredible. I mean, the jobs alone.
Prices are ridiculous.
Yeah. First of all, to subsidize some of our own electricity, but to both stimulate at least some job growth. And I really wish that they went for lifter reactors, which are liquid fluoride thorium reactors. They're larger, but they are pretty much the safest reactors with the least almost nil waste product. But nuclear, at least cutting edge nuclear, whichever direction they go, is going to hopefully be a net benefit. Obviously there can always be hiccups, but I just hope that the I'll just be blunt. I just hope fucking pretty boy Trudeau doesn't get involved and fuck everything up like he does everything else, and that the provinces can develop these sites and get these projects underway. Part of me also thinks that maybe the reason why they're going for the smaller reactors is sort of a pilot to see, we'll invest a little bit instead of going for bigger, more powerful reactors, because they could probably be built fairly quickly and get the ball rolling and start developing contracts with, say the United States to sell more electricity. So less time investment for a little bit more return, and then hopefully maybe in another 12 years maybe we'll develop a couple more reactors. Who knows? But it's always a good sign, whichever sides of the aisle you sort of land on, to see the leaders of provinces, regardless of their affiliation politically, working together to actually affect some good, or what I perceive will net good for the provinces involved, especially since New Brunswick and Ontario have kind of been hurting a bit.
Yeah, there's a couple of good comments in the chat too. So like one of the things I kind of understand your hesitation on, Mr. Misanthrope, is the Canadian government has lost money by selling weed. Like I don't doubt that.
Well, Ontario has, Alberta has not. For 4 times the population, Ontario has a quarter of the sales. No, it wasn't even a quarter. It was a tenth of the sales that Alberta does. See, it's not like it's just been so badly mismanaged here.
It's like I said, it really has to do with the business people involved. Like if these 3 guys have some idea of what it is that they're doing, they might do fine. But I understand why people hesitate when it comes to the government, and even when it comes to new energy sources, because they've fucked up before a lot. I mean, that's why a lot of us are so mad at Trudeau, because even before he was elected, they were already poking their fingers into things that we were just like, if you hadn't gotten involved, we would be further along in our advancement than we are right now. And we wouldn't be struggling as much.
Trudeau's big problem is just that the federal and the provincials are supposed to have their own damn lanes, and they're not supposed to cross lanes at any point in time. The federal is not supposed to stick its fingers in the provincial pie. Okay, that's been the rule. Do not stick fingers in provincial pie. And what Trudeau did was, when it comes to stuff like carbon tax, the provinces are like, no. And he goes, you know what? We're going to do it anyways, and just fucking over the provincials. Just said, fuck it, we're doing this now. When Quebec passes a law, Trudeau is like, we're going to make you repeal that. There's so many things that the federal government railroads. And so let's see these 3 provinces have a good idea. The 2 things I'm worried about is, 1, if you're correct in that they're building these smaller plants to say, hey, look, guys, it's working. It's fucking working. Let's do something later. It's a rush project. But 2, if Trudeau doesn't even want it to maybe work, because climate change, as Greta Thunberg has just admitted, is not just about the environment, then the provinces have no chance in hell, because Trudeau's just going to railroad them and run them right over.
But I mean, that's one of the benefits of nuclear, is that it does say, you know what, this is in line with meeting climate change sustainability mandates or whatever, because it is clean tech. And
but Trudeau's not going to give it that. They're going to make up some shit about,
I mean, I'm not discounting the
you're
buffoonery of Trudeau.
I'm not saying that you're wrong too, but like it's also like, which one is he going to do it for? Because you realize that he's only going to get away with that like maybe once or twice before he gets kicked out of Parliament, because he is still a minority government.
I believe Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and Ontario also have conservative premiers, do they not?
Yeah.
So he may also combat it because they don't want to give them a win. And this kind of joke on this, I wonder what they're going to do with the nuclear waste. You think they're going to dump it on the native reserves like they do everything else? I think
probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, most cutting edge modern reactors have almost no waste, and the waste that they do produce can be reutilized elsewhere. My main concern is this going to be a government, like a provincial government funded and then run industry like formerly Hydro One was? It was a public utility basically owned by the public, or is it going to be outsourced to a contractor who will then take over the generation and all of that? Because I think I'm all for things like this being publicly owned, because it does allow for cheaper product for the people in the region in which it's produced. Like, again, formerly
Hydro One.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Hydro One. Before Hydro One was sold off, Ontarians got their energy dirt fucking cheap. Now we're paying out the ass because the retarded Liberal government decided, oh, hey, this is a good idea. Let's sell it off. Let's privatize it. Are you fucking mad? And then, yeah, our electricity bills are just climbing through the roof year after year.
Yeah, but remember, they give you a little bit of a tax refund.
I haven't seen it.
I know, right? That's how they sell you on shit, right? Well, we'll give it back to you in a tax rebate.
And yeah, Mr. Misanthropic, nuclear power is really the best source of energy generation that we have for the yield and the amount of waste. Like I mentioned before, a lifter reactor doesn't use the fissile material to generate the energy. They use liquid fluoride thorium, which basically produces no waste. And they are the cleanest, most efficient reactors. They were developed, I want to say it was 2010, 2011. And by a Canadian, proposed to the federal government. The federal government said, no, fuck off. So they went to provincial. Provincial said, we don't have the money. They went to the United States and they said, nuclear. So you know where they fucking went, the developers of these reactors? China. Japan? You know who's building 3 of these lifter reactors? China.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe,
see, the cat knows about China. We all know about China.
Chloe, this is not my stream. Nobody likes you. You're adopted.
I like Chloe.
Penis! I wasn't sure if it would work.
Not in heat anymore, all right? Don't egg her on.
Yeah, mine occasionally goes into heat, but it's funny.
China.
Shut up.
Cat don't touch you.
Like liquid fluoride thorium prevents cavities low.
Well, I mean, that's a big thing about the older reactors. Yes, anything after like 1975 is going to be fine. They can all do with some upgrades. But the ones, I think it was pre-73, 74 or whatever, they had design flaws they were way less efficient. And those need to be shut down and replaced by newer modern reactors. Again, even the ones that we know of, with uranium and other radioactive materials as the catalyst, they're still very, very clean. And the nuclear waste can be repurposed. It doesn't just have to be dumped into, Springfield, Illinois, and create 3-eyed fish.
All right, so we're going to share the next article. And
Star Wars news, my favorite part of the news.
And Ellen says that Bobo got all excited when she heard Chloe.
Oh, she must be sleeping with her, hanging out with Mummy.
Aww. You can actually get a Baby Yoda Christmas sweater in Christmas, and it's hilarious.
I needed to share something Baby Yoda that wasn't depressingly awful from the retards on Twitter, the retard brigade on Twitter, and that had a cute picture of Baby Yoda, because Elwyn will attest. We're watching The Mandalorian. I'm fucking all gung-ho. I love this fucking show. And then Baby Yoda does something just hilarious, like sip soup. And I just like big shit-eating grin, and I giggle. Because it's like the first cutesy character in Star Wars since the original trilogy that I actually liked, that fit into the mythos of Star Wars, and that acted like he fit into the mythos of Star Wars. It's your typical ugly Christmas sweater. The picture of Baby Yoda is kind of a little weird, doesn't really translate the hyper cuteness, but
I think if you're into that kind of thing, I know Polly loves his ugly Christmas sweaters from that one whiskey company, and I know quite a few people who collect ugly Christmas sweaters. But that's your thing. It's only $60.
Okay, you know what? That is not a true ugly Christmas sweater. A true ugly Christmas sweater, I don't have to see it, by the way, is made by your grandma and it's just freaking ugly. That is just freaking capitalism trying to take grandma's job, okay?
Oh,
That
I
is
agree. That's corporate
oppressive
America.
to old ladies everywhere with their little needles and little yarn working their hardest to make sure that you don't wear something on Christmas.
Yes, the fact that he eats frogs is hilarious. But there's him eating his little soup cup, watching the I'm not gonna. He's watching his guardian get into a fist fight with someone, and he's just casually sitting on the side sipping soup. He's got the bone broth in him, and there's a meme of The Office with Michael holding the baby carriage with Baby Yoda in it. The memes are just. I mean. I groan every time I see them because they're just so bad, but they're those comforting, so bad, cryptic-y joke, like mom and dad, really bad joke kind of memes. They're wholesome, but at the same time, funny, but cringy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't throw shade at dad jokes.
I love dad jokes.
Although I have to say, memes and me, I can't see any of these, so that entire article meant nothing to me.
Yeah, I just saw a meme the other day that somebody created that was like grown-up ET characters reunion with ET, and it's the kid from ET, and he's sitting on the couch with ET, and ET's under a blanket, and he's just giving him this look, and I'm like, please don't do that. Like, the furries are enough. Can we not get into weird alien shit? Because I could see right away what they were doing there, and I'm like, oh no. No, I know it's a meme. At least it's funny, but you're gonna give some idiot an idea, and please don't do that to ET.
All right, let's see what chat has to offer. Unpopular opinion: not a fan of Baby Yoda. I don't know what he looks like, Eminem, so I'm just gonna say sure.
He's
That
just
Baby
this like maybe 11, 12-inch tall little green creature who's adorably cute. It's probably the cutest thing I've ever seen on screen.
Do you remember what like a regular Yoda looks like? He's like that, but like younger with less wrinkles and not as hairy.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Trucker Matt. Yay. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no Karen. No Chad behind the wheel of his beamer shall accost me, for I weigh 40 times what you do. I'm just gonna say, okay there, bud. Just okay there, bud.
E.T. go home. That's basically that's basically how the meme ended too. I was just like, I felt like I'd watched a clip from Robot Chicken where the guy rapes the crap out of Snuggles the bear from the commercial. That's how I felt about E.T. when I looked at this thing. I was like, please don't put that idea in somebody's head. E.T. go home.
E.T. can fuck right off.
I know, right?
He was not cute. He was not endearing. He was horrific and terrifying. And okay, so since we've covered it before, the whole Don Cherry and the fucking
oh gosh,
social justicing of hockey, we have the latest from Ron McLean, who's drank the Kool-Aid and he's taken that communist money now.
Yep.
I have audio.
Taken and turned his back on his on long term.
Okay. My last Hockey Night in Canada experience was glorious with all the Don Cherries. Don't ruin it. Don't. Why would you? Why?
Sorry.
I'll tell you a little story from from my point of view that will probably lead you first. And
Ron
then
McLean
Kwame,
wants
we
to
did
tell
an
you
interview
how
a year ago, Kwame and I, after Devontae
how much
Smith
he realizes
had,
his white
had to deal
privilege.
with racial agitation, and it was a nice conversation. But I said to Kwame, you know, I don't see you as black. I don't see Tara as a woman. And then I realized there's
It's called
white
being a
male
normal
privilege.
human
You know
fucking
what, Ron?
person,
You don't have
Ron.
to see that because you don't need to see that. And
Why are
Yeah,
they
you
being
don't need to
diverse
see
on
that.
Hockey Night
Sorry
in
about
Canada,
when the
especially
kids
since
throw
they're
back to
commentating
Hockey
on
Night in
men's
Canada,
hockey?
as a general
Get
rule,
the
they're
woman out
often
of there.
all white. And if they're not all white, the whites often have the speaking part. And it's the same with our Rogers Hometown Hockey. We're so proud of being inclusive, but how many times do we
Hey, Ron,
Basketball
have you
doesn't
ever
to
heard
be
of the
color to
law of
pick
just, you know.
averages?
It was
You
just
know,
a
if I
real
was a
eye-opener
black
that
man,
I
I
don't
would feel like I
recognize
was
the
being
structural
condescended to right now.
racism or sexism.
No, because he's a plant. I mean, this is all theater to show how
Mhm.
virtuous the Hockey Night in Canada is, and you know, Ron McLean wants to keep his job, so he's towing the line, and he's like, you know, I didn't realize I was a privileged white man, you know, in a predominantly white country, when, you know, averages be damned. So, you know, the chances of a white person speaking about hockey,
Yeah.
my God.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? I want to see more white people in basketball now. Screw that. All you basketball Americans, get out of the way. You are privileged in the realm of basketball, and it's Canadian anyways. And I want to see more white commentators.
You know, no. That's not going far enough. We have to see Chinese midgets playing against 7 foot tall black men.
And don't forget the short Jews.
Yeah, but the Jews can shoot. You don't want any competition
No,
here.
they can't. That's why. Anyways,
I'm waiting.
you want me to finish that line?
Yes.
I was gonna say the Jews can't shoot. That's why most of them can fit in an urn. You told me to finish. You know, I was trying not to
Sorry, my brother
be
was
like
talking.
blind trucking, and then you just gave me that opening, and you let me go for it.
That was more of a pity laugh than anything. That was just so easy. So easy.
Well, I didn't tell you I was an advanced comedian or anything. What freaking name? What do you want?
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
That's because we live in Canada, and it used to be chill, and now we're just
And now it's
stuck.
just chilly.
I know we're just stuck here. Just, you know what? I now identify as American. I am a trans American. Until
That's
Canada,
just how we identify.
yeah, it's until Canada gets uncucked from whatever has happened to it.
You know,
American.
no. The Jews can shoot. Just ask the Palestinians.
No, seriously. Don't you know? I mean, you should know this by now, Misanthropic. I mean, you watch Sinatra streams. Like, do you know how many times he posts pictures of Israeli women with their guns? Right?
Oh, Josephine, go away. I keep clicking off that article. Anyway, so, you know, there was some NATO meetings recently, and Trump basically, you know, said to Trudeau, hey, you know, so you're going to meet your NATO requirements, or you just going to be a little delinquent bitch like you normally are? And, oh, that's a little loud. Ah!
I love it.
Boomer tube. So
We called member countries and allied countries in the past delinquent for not meeting the 2% standard. Where would you put Canada in that, as they're not?
Slightly delinquent, I'd say.
Slightly delinquent, I'd say.
I have confidence. Just slightly delinquent. But no, some are major delinquent. Some are way below.
Yeah, I
1%.
mean,
And
2%.
that's
I think we're
unacceptable.
somewhere around
And then if something
1.4.
happens, we're supposed to protect them.
So
and
we're
it's
not meeting
really
our
fair. And it never
commitment,
has
but
been
at the
fair.
same time, we're not like
And,
under
they're
a
coming up.
percent like a lot of the
We are
member
talking
countries
to
are at this
Germany
point.
tomorrow. And
But I just
they're starting to come up.
I just love when you know, Trump takes that jab at Justin,
Mhm.
but then pulls at the last second and says, you know, just a little delinquent, just a little, you know, I'm sure we'll fix it, you know, on the national stage, saying basically, you know, pulling the tough guy act. Hey, Trudeau, Man the fuck up here.
He's actually really nice to him. In all honesty, like he's actually being really good to him. Like, I mean, the entire time that Justin is talking, he's not even looking at him mean. He's being polite. He's listening. He's looking at him. But then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call you on this part because you've just said in like the last like 2-minute speech that you guys are actively working on it." And he's like, "So what point are you at?" And that's all he has to do is, "What point are you at?" And Justin doesn't even answer. He has one of his guys answer for him because he doesn't know. Justin doesn't know what
Does
he's
he
talking.
know anything except how to teach acting?
And Trump has to pull his punches or he'll break that guy's face, all right? So, he can't handle the full Trump.
It's just one of those things where like Trudeau, like Trump is just subtly pointing out that like Trudeau, you're out of your lane because you don't know what you're talking about. When you have to have an aide lean over you and tell you about your numbers, and Trump is sitting there like he probably already knows his numbers. That's why he keeps bringing it up.
Because he's at the NATO meeting. Like, I mean, it's like, why wouldn't you know what your NATO spending is when you're at a meeting of the NATO nations?
Because he took that job to.
No, I mean, like any logical person. Obviously, we know Trudeau's a fucking piece of shit and useless
That's why I call him
motherfucker. But
Prime Minister Fluffy. Like, I don't even use his name. I usually refer to him as Prime Minister Fluffy.
I like calling him Trudeau, but that's
I like calling him Little Potato.
Little Potato.
I wish Trump would just pull out an epic name for Trudeau. I really wish he would just pull it out right there.
Mr. Popo?
Anything, because his nicknames are epic. So I just wish he would have put some effort into insulting him like he does his Democrat opponents and just, put something in there that was kind of ringy. He's really good at that, and Canadians would have appreciated it a lot more.
It's one of those things where, like, back because of Obama, and I really did kind of resent him a little bit for saying that shit about voting for Trudeau before the election. And I was always just, and I was always just like, Trump, you could have thrown us a bone and just made a joke about him being a triple-faced black man, because you did it to Elizabeth Warren. Like, could you have thrown us just a little bone? Like, we'll do business with you.
It's a little bit different when it's a foreign power, and
he didn't meddle in our elections, unlike Obama's.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't, I didn't like it when Obama was throwing his horse behind Trudeau, and I wouldn't have liked it if Trump stooped to that level. I think that's meddling more than anything.
But still, I mean,
after the election, I wish he would throw us that bone.
Yeah,
NATO ratings would have gone up.
Just one little 3 times blackface joke from Trump would mean so much to me for Christmas.
That would have been so delicious.
Trump, can you play Santa for one day before Christmas and just a little bit. Anyway, but yeah.
If you tweet him every single day from now until the 25th, I'm sure he'll do it.
Next article.
Oh, on the Trump train, White House says it won't participate in impeachment hearing. Good.
Not
Fuck 'em.
Well, not surprised.
Not really, but at the same time, like, just good show of solidarity and just keeping with his own narrative of this is all a farce, which the proof has been in the pudding so far, that there hasn't been any proof of any major wrongdoing on Trump's part, aside from his bloviating, his bluster, and his hyperbole, which some can call lies, whatever degree of lie you want to call. But I mean, he still doesn't lie half as much as someone like Bernie does, or Elizabeth does. Or
it's interesting, right? So nobody's backing it. Everybody knows it's a farce. But BBC News today, Trump impeachment evidence overwhelming.
Oh yeah, you still have those fucking, and it boggles my mind that it's in the UK, because I would expect and understand this from CNN, MSNBC, etc. But to constantly see it up here or across the pond, or in Australia. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. When you can't even have an honest discussion about the guy, it just defeats the purpose entirely.
We couldn't even give him props for going to Afghanistan for Thanksgiving, all right? He's not going to get any freebies from anyone ever. There's going to be no honesty.
Yeah.
Although Eminem did say his face when he found out what he was going to have to eat with the soldiers was apparently hilarious.
All right, next one. Is this a
What
Jagmeet
was-
Singh? Because it looks like it. Next article.
No.
Right.
Not Jagmeet Singh. Homeless veterans appeal. London Mayor Boris Johnson sleeps rough to support our campaign. Oh, wait. Oh, Jesus, that's from 2015. But I just wanted to bring it up because, yeah, we were talking about Trump and they've been trying the Guardianites and those types, the far leftists in the UK have been calling Bojo and trying to demonize him, calling him, the UK Trump and all that, which Trump would have never done a stunt like this. But I just wanted to draw attention to, I mean, for all of his I don't want to call it hardline tactics, but certainty when he speaks about his party, the politics, things that are going on in the UK, and ever since Brexit, I've been paying more and more attention. Whether or not this is, a political stunt, he spent the night on the streets with the owner of the Independent to show their solidarity with the problems of homelessness in their city, and to juxtapose that with like things that go on here or down south. Like here, we have our mayor just basically say to the police, nope, round up all the homeless downtown and get them out of the city, run them out of the city. Doesn't matter where they go, just get them out of the downtown core.
So I just need to stop for a second.
Yes.
So Mr. Misanthropic, Streamlabs is showing that you said something else there, and it's not showing up on the YouTube. And I don't know if it's because you took it down or if YouTube just isn't showing it. But all he said is this constant cock and bull show is how you guarantee a Trump 2020 victory. I don't know. Yeah, it's not showing up on mine. Like it has Trudeau isn't worth the effort of coming up with.
Are you on Top Chat or Live Chat?
I've got Top Chat.
Go to Live Chat.
Like that shouldn't do that.
And
though.
I mean, he obviously he's not wrong. Like the more that
Yeah, it still doesn't show up when I do that.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
The more that they detract from actual things that they could be criticizing, and go to these dog and pony shows that are just bluster and just demonizing without any evidence.
Yeah, no, the reason I'm pointing it out is because it's literally edited different on YouTube. Like from my StreamYards, I can see that he wrote the message. But between where Opinionated said it's the BBC, I'm not shocked, and Elwyn's yelling, what do you mean there's no Big Macs in Afghanistan? There's no comment there on the YouTube. That's why I'm mentioning it. Because like I've never had issues with that with Ranting Monkey. Like I have no problems with writing his name into the chat. But like seeing something like that on my YouTube when I'm as tiny as I am, that bugs me a little. Like it's not you or anything. It's just the fact that it doesn't show up on my end.
It didn't show up on my end either.
Yeah. That's why I'm pointing it out. Because like when I see stuff like that, I like to highlight it. So if anybody comes back and watches it, it's like, yeah, we're being censored. Like you didn't say anything wrong with there. Saying cock and bull it's a line. It's a quote. You're not talking about, I mean, you are talking about penis, but I mean, it's a quote.
When is he not talking about penis?
And
Yeah,
I mean,
YouTube removed
honestly, you're excluding vaginas in there.
Like the C word is a no word. Like that bothers me that they would.
This is a
remove-
non-inclusive space.
Yeah, like that pisses me off a little bit. We'll get over it.
No,
We'll
yeah,
get back onto
remember
the
you,
article,
right?
but- So at least I acknowledge that you said something. YouTube, you don't get to dictate to me what my chat can say. Like, I'm not child friendly. There's nothing in my channel that states that I am. Every time that I've been asked that, I've mentioned that I'm not child friendly. So if somebody wants to say cock and balls in my chat, they're more than welcome to. I don't have an issue with that.
Cock and balls.
My slave is in the chat.
Yay!
You have a slave?
Yeah, I kidnapped him fair and square with puppies, candy, and a white van with a guy named Dave driving.
Hi, Arms Killer.
Neat.
He is now in my basement, and there's a bathroom down there, and the heat's cranked, so he doesn't need clothing. And I got a camera just to make sure he's still alive. That's totally my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. So since you're the guest today, Blind Girl,
Yo.
shall we move on to kitty news or movie news?
Kitty. Oh, I love kitty.
Kitty.
Oh, kitties. I love them. Kind of like naughty kitty stuff in Petrocan's case, but kitties nonetheless.
I just try to bring up some kitty news. This one's kind of heartwarming. It's a sad tale, but it's kind of heartwarming. Meet the frostbitten cat that has become the first in the world to receive 4 prosthetic limbs, and he's got these cute little titanium kitty. Well, he's got stubs on all 4 legs, but protruding from those, he's got these tiny little kitty paws.
Check the date on that.
Check the date. September 10th, 2019.
Oh, interesting.
I've seen lots of stories where they've done double amputees and single amputee animals, but I think he's the first one to get all 4 limbs.
No, I swear this exact same cat I've talked about before, or I've scrolled past.
So Arms Killer says, "Don't you start now. M&M's. I earned my freedom. Deal with it." And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but hi, Arms Killer.
Petrocan is Arms Killer. He's the one I kidnapped. All right. Well, you know what? I could be wrong, but anyways, awesome. 4 limbs for a kitty. Yeah.
He looks like a little fox too, just because of that tip on his tail. Cute little
And
guy.
I'll play the little video. There's no sound, but the vet surgeon is, playing with his little paws, and
Oh, his ears too. Oh, poor baby.
he got caught out in the cold, and
Yeah,
lucky for him, because now he can at least live a semi life and not be euthanized, because most severely frostbitten animals like this have to be euthanized, because the rest of their lives will just be left in wallowing depression and in immense amounts of pain.
Yep. When I lived on a farm in Packerham, there was this lady. She was from Britain, okay, and she felt bad because you know how there's barn cats on a farm?
Yeah.
Well, the idea of barn cats is they're freaking barn cats, but no, she had to feed them. So what happened? She had a cat colony that turned into like 50 cats, and every year there'd be like a new 20. And they would all have, like, because winter and farm equipment, they'd have like missing ears, missing tails, a missing leg, missing nose, like just frostbitten and just deformed. A bajillion cats like that, and it was just kind of morbid because she couldn't stop feeding them. She's like, but I can't, they're starving. And I'm like, yeah, they're also limping. Stop feeding them so they'll go away.
He's so cute trying to walk and just learning how to use the stairs.
One of those things that I do mention to people is there's tons of videos on how you can make cat boxes. Like if you live in a city or something, and you know that there's probably going to be cats out and about, because some people just like they let them out to go pee and then they don't check right away, but they're really easy to make. Like you just insulate the inside of a little box, and it gives them something to warm them up a little bit.
Not a box, plastic box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to interrupt you there. It's just if you use a box and it gets wet, that cat's dead in there.
Yeah. No, it has to be insulated. Usually like you find a way to insulate them. But they're fairly easy to make, and there's tons of videos on safe ones that you can make. I just wish
Also, you
people.
want to keep it up off the ground by using 4 rocks. You don't want it sitting on the ground either, or they will freeze to death as well. So once you insulate it, you also need to keep it up off the ground about half a foot. I used to work in animal rescue.
See what? Yeah, that's why I wanted to say it. Just because, like, it does help. You know, it's just you do have to be careful. You do have to check them. Like, especially where I live. I don't know about you guys, but we have a lot of things that wander in that aren't cats. Cute, but not cats.
I'm on the 4th floor. I don't think a cat's going to wander around my balcony other than mine. Thankfully.
I'm really close to our national park that's like square in the middle of the city. So when I say animals, I'm usually talking about things like the odd raccoon or
Skunk,
rabbits,
hawk.
lots of rabbits. We had an owl living across the street. It was not even across the street. It's like a back alley kind of street. And it was one of those things where my phone was just too far away for me to grab it. And I'd gone out for a smoke with my brother, and we thought that there was an argument because there were 3 ravens in the tree. And I thought the crows and the magpies were just ganging up on the ravens because they do that, you know. And then all of a sudden, this owl just flies out of the tree. He's just like, I have had enough of this crap. And like, between the ravens and the crows and the magpies, I'm just like, you poor owl. But
And then the owl looked back and went, fucking mint.
Yup. Oh, it was amazing. But yeah, yet again, I didn't have my phone close by, and it was one of those things. If I turn around to get it, they're going to be gone. And I'm not even going to see it. So, no foxes though.
There's some human trafficking going on in chat. I don't know if we can.
I already told you guys he's mine. Okay, there is no trafficking because I already own it. Petrocan, aka Arms Killer, is mine. Okay, I'm collecting autistics. He is part of my set. Get your own child. I mean, 19-year-old adult male. Yeah, get your own.
Did you just assume his gender?
Ma'am. Just to remind you, the name of my my stream today is
It's Snowma.
Ma'am. I was struggling for things to name. It was Blood already took Tuesday, so I was like, well, I can't refer back to Tuesday, so I guess Snowman it is.
Arms Killer, thank you for sticking up for me. You're absolutely right. Eminem hasn't made the transaction, and you'll be happier in my basement with the webcams for the live feed anyways.
And when exactly does that premiere?
As soon as I fly over to Europe and get a white van with a guy named Dave and some puppies and candy and a laser pointer to lure him in it. Yeah, you know, it always works.
Oh, okay. Changing of articles. I will pull that up. I always forget that you do that, and then I don't pay attention because I'm angry face cat. He's so cute. He's so cute.
Yeah, the Canadian government investing into do cats' faces really are. Let me restart that. Cats' faces are really hard to read, but some people can do it. Study finds in Guelph, Ontario, researchers are developing training tool on how to read cat cues like tilt of the eyes. That hard-earned government money well spent.
You know what? If they're not putting peanut butter on the genitalia of the minors, they're doing it to the pets. Let's just call it for what it is.
Is this Canada's response to Jackson Galaxy? Because he's gay. He's clearly gay. We don't want a Canadian Jackson Galaxy. Can we just not?
Some women are good at it.
What they had 6,300 responses analyzed. The overall average score was under 12 out of 20, not much better than chance when trying to discern what the cat was conveying with their facial expressions. However, there was about 13% of the overall group who consistently scored upwards of 15 out of 20. They tended to either be female, young, or both. or were professional veterinarians, so they kind of fit into this small little group. It's kind of funny. And they theorize women, for whatever reason, tend to be better at reading facial expressions. And vets just happen to see a lot of cats and just figure it out.
Chloe, we're not talking about you. I can't even see your facial expression.
Yeah.
Well, it could also be one of those like nature to nurturing things. Like, I'm not trying to be sexist here, but there is a tendency for women to like, if you're kind of cute and I could treat you like a baby. Not all, obviously. Some men do that too.
I can kind of see it, but with me and Elwyn, no, the cat's my baby, and I can basically do anything to her, and she looks at me with the most adoring faces most of the time, and even when I'm like trying to antagonize her. And there'll be times where Elwyn will go to pet her, and I just see this look of Raptus Dominus coming out of the cat's eyes when Elwyn goes to pet her, and I'm waiting, and then she lets her have it. Just like, shh. The claws come out. She's not as good as I am at reading the cat.
This study is ridiculous, and I'll tell you why. There's only 2 things as part of a cat's facial expression that actually tells you what's going on. Most of it's in the rest of the body. Like a cat's expression, there's nothing freaking to it unless you're looking at eyes or ears. A blink or a slow blink is going to mean, I trust you, I love you, you can do whatever you want to me. Ears back means they're suspicious. It's all about the tail and the legs. So,
their body posture is much more important to telling their disposition than a facial expression. It really kind of it's a funny story, but it also kind of grinds my gears that we're wasting money on this shit. Because even their own research showed that there really isn't any, like, they were testing just faces, so they were very specific on getting pictures of the cat's facial expression without the body. And so the data shows us that, like, it's nothing more than chance anyway. So it was, money well spent on something that, like, why are we wasting money on this to begin with? Who the fuck cares?
The third expression you can see is if, other than when the cat's just eaten, if the cat is slowly licking its lips, it's nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you can't tell, especially from a photo still. A cat's expression, you just look at the tail. If it's standing straight up in almost a backward question mark thing, you're good. If it's parallel to the floor, it's nervous. If it's low to the ground or wagging, get the fuck out of its way.
Both animals probably do love you, Elwyn. It's just cats and dogs are weird like that. There's just one person who's the leader,
no, the cat loves her. It's just she can't read the cat as well as I do. And since we're closing off the pet segment, this was on my Facebook feed and I couldn't help myself. Sorry, blind girl. It's just a video of this guy and his pet raccoons. He's got 2 pet raccoons and a dog, and it's just like the cutest thing because the raccoon's like chasing around the dog, which is like half the size of the raccoon, and he's like playing with them and showing just how cute they can be. Because I mean, they, if they're domesticated enough, they are pretty cute. They really are. They've got a dog-like temper.
The dog is having a blast here. He's just like, you can't keep up with me in the raccoons. Like, I'm gonna try, but yeah, you're not wrong.
And I mean, if you treat them like any other, he's grabbing his face. If you treat it like any other domesticated animal, get it at shots, get it vaccinated and treated for fleas and stuff, they can be very successfully domesticated. Excuse me.
It's just another one of those.
Only socially appropriate time to say the word coons.
I tried so hard to get.
Look at that fatto.
I wanted so bad to send him a proper raccoon hat
Look
that
at this
said
chub.
"Make America Great" on it, just to see if he would wear it for me. But he was like, "No, I don't want to."
Did you see him pick him up with that nice little chub on his belly? Oh, it's so cute.
I hope Green is still watching because he'd love this.
Yeah, they're cute. It's just
I often get these like several minute videos of just people with weird pets.
Well, it's like I showed the videos of the otters the other day, and it's just one of those things. As long as you respect that these types of pets are going to be more intelligent than your average like dog or cat, because they're more of a like they might be more domesticated now, but they're still going
They're
to
more in tune with their instincts, though.
Yeah, and it's just as long as people are aware of that when they get animals. It's like a lot of people get ferrets and they forget, like, yes, they're domesticated, and for the most part they are, but they're still designed with their instincts because they were meant to be gopher killers. They are literally groundhog killers. They were meant to go into the tunnels to go and kill the rodents in your field. That instinct hasn't been run out of them. Look at this guy. He's just so chubby and and flexible, man. He's just like, I'm happy as a clam. Oh, they look so happy. And healthy too. Like that's I don't mind watching videos like this because you can tell that they're happy and healthy. He's Batman.
These guys were made to be human garbage disposals. So, if you want to domesticate them, have fun.
Well, I mean, some people keep pigs as pets, so I mean, those are also kind of garbage disposals, and some of them are cute too. Like, it's just yet again one of those things where, like, when people market them, they're like, "Oh, look, it's a cute baby teacup pig," and then they get huge, and you're like, "Oh, they didn't tell me that." And like, why didn't you look into it?
This is just infinitely entertaining. Now he's playing with an ice cube going, what the hell is this?
It's cold and it's wet, and I kind of want to eat it, but I don't know how to hold it. People who
The
keep
stupid
pigs.
shit I find.
See, Mr. Misanthropic, that is a murder mystery that you should look up. And we can pin this one on BC, but he is called the Pig Killer. Where they found 300 bodies. I think it was like, I don't know, I can't remember. It was like a stupid amount of bodies because he kept trash piles and then he just hid them in the trash piles. And he was selling it as pork products to people. Because it was also a pig farm. So he was selling legit animal and human flesh.
Elowen said there's a raccoon humping the trampoline. She's like, no, jumping.
He could have been humping. I mean, it was chasing that dog rather like, hey, you're kind of cute today.
Oh, God.
Oh, good, Green, you are still here. I figured you'd like that video.
Yeah, it was cute. I love animal videos. It is one of those things that you get stuck on the weird end of YouTube for when you're like, I just want to watch one of these, and then like 12 of them show up and you're like, I don't know which one to pick. Except for the ones that are like, oh, this animal's so funny, but watch as this person beats the hell out of this animal.
That's why I especially like that page on Facebook, because they always show just weird, cute stories of just usual. Like half of it, I'd say, is what we would consider exotic animals, just like not your run-of-the-mill cat, dog, furry rodent kind of thing. And then the other half, is just cute shit. But moving on to movies, I guess the CBC is finally cluing in that China is becoming the biggest movie market in the world and changing what you watch. Duh. Like we didn't know this was happening already. It's been all over the news. But nice enough for Eli Glasner at the CBC to start cluing into this stuff. And the response on our side of the ocean has not been favorable.
So I have to pause you for a second because yet again, YouTube is censoring my chat. So I'm going to read out what Arms Killer said because fuck YouTube. But, oh, look, a story about China being a sack of shit. There, you can keep going now. Sorry,
To give you some context, what content from China are they even talking about? Because I can't see nothing.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, and no shit, Sherlock, says Mr. Misanthrope, because he got censored too.
Perhaps it's just the latest sign of strength in the new cinematic superpower. Whether it's James Bond on a mission in Shanghai or Chinese doctors saving Tony Stark's life, you may have noticed an increased level of Chinese content in blockbusters. Take the recently released Midway. The Chinese-backed production featured a subplot where Chinese villagers sheltered American pilot James Doolittle, rewriting history to make China seem favorable during World War II. Speaking with CBC News, Midway director Roland Emmerich put it bluntly, without China, Midway wouldn't have happened. There's such a huge market, you can easily make back your money. With a population of 1.4 billion and booming middle class, theater chains in China have been building as many 25 movie screens a day, according to the Motion Picture Association of America. In the last 10 years, while North American ticket sales have been stagnant, China's movie market is exploding. Its box office is set to become the world's biggest by next year. And I mean, that's just volume, right? Like, we're still per capita, like, North America as a whole, like the biggest movie going culture in the world. We love our movies. So I don't really see why they bring that up, other than the fact that they're just growing fast, and as it goes on, blah, 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 blah. China's central government closely controls which movies can be seen, limiting foreign films to a quota of about 34 a year. Government-sanctioned co-productions, however, are exempt from the quota. Dun, dun, dun. Gee, I wonder why. Every film released in China is vetted by government censors. Some of restricted elements include attacks on state authority, supernatural elements, and homosexuality. I don't know if anybody in chat has, or you guys have seen like the movie Red State, which was about
Waco.
Originally, it was originally about a ground invasion by China into the U.S. and was remade by Kevin Smith, I believe, and they had to change it to Koreans so it could get screen time in China. And obviously that's happening a lot. There's the back patch on the new Top Gun movie. It's no longer the communist China flag. It's just some red nondescript flag of.
Are we talking about the same Red State film?
Yes. Well, I don't know.
I don't know, because the Red State that I saw was about Waco, a similar story to Waco, Texas.
That could be another film with the same name or similar name. Maybe.
I was going to say, because I don't remember there being any Koreans in there whatsoever. I do remember, cops storming a place and shooting it up. But other than that, yeah, maybe it's the same day.
What part am I reading?
Oh no, Red State 2011. Written and directed by Kevin Smith, starring Michael Parks, John Goodman, Mike, and Melissa Stephen.
Random says Red Dawn.
Red Dawn, that's it.
Okay, because Red State was Waco, Texas. I got that one. All right.
Yes.
All right, I'm good. I'm good again.
Okay, sorry about that random. I was just like, what part am I reading? The Red Dawn? Because like when you were talking about movies, I was like, I've only seen Red Dawn once, and it was ages ago. It was a good movie, and I liked it, but
also a fantastic movie. If you guys haven't seen it, you should see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both really good. So they just basically go on to tell you, like the little things that they change. Obviously, we know that was it the third Transformers movie? Like the entire third act was in China, and the Chinese government was the big hero behind the heroes. I wonder why. In a newer movie, Abominable, it's an animated film. You can see it on screen. Sorry, Blind, you can't see it, but there's a map that the Chinese like to use where it's their unofficial, like, these are our international waters line, and it's not recognized by the rest of the world, but it's how they envision it. Yeah. And so that shows up for a minute on screen in this movie, as opposed to the
I was
actual map.
Looking at that, and I'm like, isn't that supposed to be Japan? Why does it look like that?
Because they're basically saying these waters that are really Japan and Taiwan's waters are our waters. It's little snippets, little Easter eggs like that they slip into these movies to
they're really gonna dig their own hole if they do that, because you're dividing the market not just for Americans. If you do that, you're also doing it for like other Asian groups. So like Taiwan, I wouldn't bank on as much because they're not exactly like the richest country out of Asia either. But Japan isn't broke, and they're not a small country in terms of numbers. So I don't know why they would want to bow to that. But okay.
Well, and all of our, if you want to call them allies or friends in that region, also hate China. They hate communism. South Korea fucking hates communism. Japan hates. Well, I mean, Japan's a little bit more deep-seated and racist than that, but I mean, they too also hate communism. You know, like all these smaller Asian nations that aren't communist hate communism. So, but what makes this? Sorry.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Right. It's almost like if you know what actual in practice communism is like, you tend to dislike it.
See, Mr. Misanthrope, the only Red Dawn that I've watched is the one with Patrick Swayze in it. So I've never seen the remake. I don't even know.
Right. You're right. The original was about the Soviets. They were remaking it to originally be Chinese, but they changed it because they wanted to get screen time in China. So they changed it to Koreans. The North Koreans invaded the United States because that could ever happen.
Because they have
China. China's at least believable because if they sent a fleet of ships, chances are, half of them would be destroyed, but the other half would land. And I mean, maybe in some weird way they could, but it's just a fantasy. But what makes this so weird is that it's affecting us here in Hollywood of the North. As China flexes its movie muscles, smaller producers such as Massey are getting caught in the middle. Soon after Meng's arrest, he says, a 7-city celebration of Canadian films was also canceled. Massey was arranging for Mediation Park star Sandra Oh to walk the red carpet when he learned theaters were told not to sponsor the event. Massey remains fascinated and horrified by China. When he's standing on a street corner, he says he feels that he's witnessing history. There's a huge amount of hubris growing in China. They feel entitled that they will become the most powerful economy on the planet, he said. Canadian filmmaker Jordan Patterson, not to be confused with Jordan Peterson, is also feeling the effects of that hubris firsthand. With a budget of $30 million, he hopes to bring the story of Canadian doctor Norman Bethune to Chinese audiences with his film Phoenix. The pioneer in blood transfusion worked in China in the late 1930s and met with revered communist leader Mao Zedong. So, I mean, in that little film, he'll probably have to treat someone like Mao Zedong with kid gloves. But I mean, I don't like it. I don't like this kowtowing to China. I don't care how much fucking money they have. You're playing like global economies are playing right into China's hands because they're still able to keep their totalitarian communist ways, but play this financial game. Play it well because they can control everything.
China.
And rig the system for their favor that we in the West have been using for, a century now.
Mao say dong. What won't Mao say? Dong?
By the way, Jen, I've noticed you've been having trouble pronouncing Mr. Misanthropic's name.
I do it all the time. I'm sorry.
That's why we either call him M&M or Skittles.
Okay, good, because I was about ready to start calling him Mr. Fister, and I know that's a different person.
That would have been hilarious. I shouldn't have stopped you.
The last quote I just want to read out is, once China grants you market access, they own you, unless you're willing to sacrifice profit for principle. That pretty much sums it all up, and why I would assert that why a lot of American movies, big blockbusters, are big piles of dog shit. There are definitely other factors, but a lot of it has to do with the appeal to Chinese markets and their bending over backwards, whether it's Canadian filmmakers, American filmmakers, British filmmakers, what have you, to appease China and to appease their censors. Mr. Fister.
I should show you guys one of those one of these days. My brother created this character on Second Life called Sister Fister, and she is exactly what she sounds like. So this fat pirate lady with massive red bush under hair and crotch hair, and she's got two peg legs, and she's got hooks for arms, and she's a pirate, so she's got like massive lips and these little tiny pigtails, and she makes little sounds whenever she walks behind you. And she has a rainbow dildo that's giant. It's about the size of a leg. Sister Fister. This is why opening the door for fat characters in games is probably not a good idea.
Sweet Jesus. So a couple of movie trailers dropped, and
Woo! Normal stuff.
I can't get Sister Fister out of my head. Jesus Christ. First of all was and I can't even remember now because all I can think of is Sister Fister, Mr. Fister, Mr. Sister Fister.
I'm getting in so much trouble for this, but yeah, I have to.
Oh, right. Black Widow, which I saw was kind of it's gonna be a movie. Big deal. I think they Marvel just blew its wad. I don't want to say too fast because, like a 12-year, 13-year run of films culminating in a 2-part sort of extravaganza is a really good thing. Like it was really successful. And I think even the worst of the movies were still pretty good. And the best of the movies were fucking incredible. But that's just going to be, the future for Marvel until they can start pumping out, I don't know, like good X-Men movies, maybe? Because, people tend to forget, like, Avengers was like a B-list team until these movies. Until, Iron Man and Cap became famous through their solo films and the Avengers came out. Like, X-Men and Spider-Man were like the flagships of Marvel. But yeah, and also the new 007 James Bond bullshit. None of those work. She's trying to steal my broken lighters, my out of fuel lighters. In No Time to Die. Such a clever, robust name for a Bond movie. Can you turn that off? I don't want feedback. I can hear myself speaking from her phone, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to myself talk. That's why I have a fucking microphone and headphones. So I can just subject you people to my inane ramblings. It looks like
Halloween, turn it up.
She's
just
out
to
on the
watch
balcony
him
now.
rage.
She can't hear you. It looks like your typical Bond movie. There's guns and cars, and I'm not above it. I'm a huge Bond fan. I'm not the biggest fan of the current incarnation of Bond, but I still think it's good. What?
What did they do?
Nothing. I'm not the biggest Daniel Craig fan as far as Bond goes. I think there's better portrayals of Bond out there. He's supposed to be like Monkey seems to think that Bond is supposed to be this tool, this hammer, this brutish guy, and I'm like, no, because Ian Fleming always wrote him as like the suave, debonair man of mystery, can sort of chameleon his way into high societies in other countries to infiltrate, and he's irresistible to women, and men want to be him and be around him. Sorry?
Suave chick magnet with a gun.
Yeah. So I mean, he can lay down the law when he needs to, and I mean, look at the Bonds we've had. We've had Connery, we've had Brosnan, and the rest. Like they pulled off that suave man of mystery, super spy kind of thing. Craig, he does come off more like just like a brutish action star. And if that's the direction they want to go with it, okay, fine. It's not really Bond-ish anymore, in my mind.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm glad I can see it.
Oh, I don't have it on screen. I'm just talking about stuff I've read.
No, I'm
about.
so glad I can't see it. Even if I went to the movie, I wouldn't have to see it digging its own grave. So I am thoroughly happy I'm blind right in this moment.
Well, I can't find my other thing, but I've got another thing I'm going to share real quick, just because it's
Do
a
it
little.
to
It's a short little advertisement. I'm not getting paid for it, but I think it's hilarious, so I'm going to share it.
I've always been curious, and please, curb me if I'm overstepping my bounds. But do you? How can I say this? Do you consume TV and movies and just listen to it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, I never really liked TV and movies when I could see, and so like
it's
I
not
like
like your go-to media.
Yeah, but I still do listen to the odd thing here or there, depending on if it piques my interest. But Hollywood these days has been a disappointment, so there's been very few things I've actually been like, you know what? I'm going to waste 2 hours of my life that is worth so much.
Yeah. I get that. I've never interacted with, I've never really had a blind friend. I've had, several deaf friends, and they all like just, put on the subtitles or whatever, I actually had a friend who was a DJ with me back in our teen years. He was deaf, and my first encounter was, we both went to the same school. He found out I DJ'd. I invited him to the show, and at the show, he invited me to one of his shows. And it was weird because I'm very bad at signing, but he and I are both really good at reading lips, so that's mostly how we communicated. I knew a little bit of sign, so but like I just full on started asking him, like, how is that even possible? How can you even DJ if you can't hear the sound? And he's like, yeah, exactly. I don't hear the sounds. I hear the vibrations in the bass and in the mid-range. So that's typically what he played, was very bass heavy.
That's why my deaf aunt loves Metallica.
Because you can hear the vibration. It just kind of gets her going.
Yeah, she loves heavy metal and hard rock. And she's deaf. And it's very interesting getting her and I in the same room.
Okay, I'm gonna play this real quick for you guys. This one probably. Oh, full screen it. All right. All right.
There you go.
All right, guys. Let's play this one.
No more adverts.
If you're like me, you find it very hard to keep your dick dry. I left my dick unprotected, and it was warped out of shape in no time. I could barely recognize my own dick. Imagine that. Then I discovered Schaefer's New Zealand style dick sealant, the best way to take care of your dick in 3 easy steps. First, wash your dick with soap and water. Then wait for your dick to dry.
Wait for your dick to dry, and he's just lying there shirtless, drinking a beer. I used to be too embarrassed
to invite people over to see my dick. But now, my dick's the talk of the town. I even have pictures of my dick. Check out that dick. I want to send this to my secretary. Barbara always loves to receive my dick pics. After all, summertime is all about spending time on your dick. I'll often have 20 to 30 people on my dick at once.
I know, right?
I can really wear your dick out, causing dick splinters and discoloration. But with Schaefer's dick sealant, my dick stays a nice golden brown colour. Who wouldn't want a golden dick? I used to never let children anywhere near my dick. My dick was too dangerous for kids to play on. But it seems like every kid in the neighbourhood has worn my dick this summer, and they've all had a good time. My dick's over 70 years old, but it looks brand new. That's part of the reason all my neighbours are jealous of my dick. Isn't that right, Jim? Yes, you've got a nice dick, okay? His wife is always on my dick, begging me to know the secret of my perfect dick. If you like Schaefer's dick sealant, check out Schaefer's New Zealand style cock. I had a huge hole in my dick, but I fixed it by jamming some cock in it. You'd be surprised how many things you can fix by jamming cock into them. Have an extra large hole in your dick? Try Schaefer's African style cock. Just go to your local home improvement store and ask for the big black cock. Schaefer's New Zealand style dick sealant. Don't put it on your penis.
Don't put it on your penis.
There's also a helpful number on the back. Hi, I've got a question about my dick. Schaefer's New Zealand style. Hey, get that squirrel off my dick. He knows he's not allowed to come on my dick.
Oh, that was good.
Oh. All right, we can continue.
Oh, God.
So that was worth interrupting for, just because like.
Oh,
like
that was totally worth it.
That hurt.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them too. I played that one because it's the first one out of the lot, and it's one of those things. Every once in a while, I'll throw it at an Aussie because the guy's from New Zealand. It's different tones to the accent, but every time I meet somebody from down under, and regardless of which island you're on, I don't care. I play it because they're just like, he's just emphasizing that deck. He doesn't have to do that. I'm like, that's the whole point. You're gonna love my nuts. It's like that one line in that commercial, because let's be real, that product was a piece of shit. But like any room that you were in, and that like he just said that one line, and every head just turned and looked and was just like, you did that on purpose.
Oh damn! The poop thrower didn't get any jail time.
No.
No. All right. Miss Alberta, have you heard about the Toronto poop thrower?
Yep.
Oh, we covered it.
Yep.
Yeah, so the man accused in Toronto poop attacks makes second brief court appearance, and lawyer says jail is not appropriate place for him.
Oh, that's just his lawyer.
Yeah, and he just dumped it. Well, and he didn't get jail time either because Rebel just popped up saying he didn't get it. So the man accused of dumping buckets of liquefied poop matter on 5 people in a series of bizarre attacks in Toronto last week made a second brief appearance at a downtown court on Tuesday. Samuel Foreign, age 23, has been scheduled for a bail hearing at Old City Hall Tuesday morning, but the court date was pushed first into larger hearing rooms in anticipation of crowds, then from courtroom to courtroom as several justices of the peace said they could not hear the case, and finally to the later date. By the time Mr. Foreign Guy case was heard in the afternoon, just a handful of onlookers were there to watch proceedings with about a dozen members of the media. He's remained in custody since he was arrested last week. He is facing 5 counts each of assault with a weapon and mischief. A publication ban has been imposed on information presented in court, as is typical for a bail hearing after a brief 5-minute appearance. This guy's hearing was put over to a next scheduled date of December 18th. He appeared in court wearing a blue shirt, dark gray pants, and blue and white sneakers. Not that I know why this matters. Speaking to the media outside court, the guy's lawyer told reporters his client is holding up, but said jail is not an appropriate place for him. He said that although he could not speak specifics about this guy's mental health, he said that anyone who allegedly throws poop at other people likely has a mental health issue or holds strong animosity towards the victim.
Yeah, you think a little bit, all 3 in there. 2.
After we first covered the story, I did find out that the poop was in a liquefied form.
It's one of those things where you're just sitting there like, okay, body hazards, biohazards, and you're just like, okay, what if he had diseases too? On top of like poop on its own is still deadly. It can still be deadly, but if he has a disease too, it's like, why are we letting these guys go? Like, don't get me wrong, I do agree he probably does have mental health issues. He probably does.
Nah, he's a doctor. He was just performing fecal transplants for people to live better lives.
Like, it's just I'm done with it. It's another one of those things where like, I'm sorry that you're using the excuse that like he's not mentally capable of understanding that what he did was wrong, but I'm calling bullshit because he did.
Was it?
Well, the thing is like, if we're not going to allow people to be locked up in insane asylums anymore, then the only place we can put them is freaking jail. So if you don't want to see this poor bugger in jail, then let us freaking, white jacket people again. Pick one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to get back those happy farms. Those magical places where, the men in little white suits come and pick you up and they take you to the happy farm where you'll live happily ever after. Well, not really, but
not be a danger to society anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That one song that I also can't play on here because it'll I mean, I've already been demonetized by that one commercial. Thank God.
You know what? They will productively help us advance in medicine by being our clinical grade A stamped test bunnies. Did I say the quiet part loud again?
No, you're fine. I was just reading what Elwood said. Oh, great! More reason to avoid CAN. CAN.
Center for Addiction and Mental Health. It's our basically what's left of our insane asylums here. It's a mental health group in Ontario.
I love how they just broaden the umbrella from insane to partially demented to just know everybody. Slightly depressed, you belong there too. Slightly anxious, you belong there too. So the insane and the normal but just don't like people all get to mingle together in liquefied poop buckets.
Poop buckets.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to start shutting it down pretty shortly here. So if you want to shill your stuff, by all means, let me hear what it is that you got the works on.
Oh, okay. In 38 minutes, come over to my channel for blind trucking until 9 o'clock because we do pretty much the same as you guys, but way more American stuff and a lot more dicks.
America.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Coming to save the motherfucking day. All right. Go ahead, Functional. Your turn.
Well, you can find us once again on my channel, Functional, Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 GMT. Oh my God, I'm so slow today. What was I doing? Oh, right. Our next show was Saturday. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, this is my channel. Oh, don't forget Trucker Shill for his new channel.
Oh yes.
Trucker Matt channel.
Everybody here who hasn't followed him, please follow him. He had to restart his channel due to reasons that I'm not going to disclose because but you should go and follow him because restarting a channel kind of still blows.
Here, I got your link, buddy. Yeah, it's the trucker link. The one above is the blind trucking link because I don't know why I haven't just made an actual channel name to go on the link. And the one below it is Trucker Matt, almost daily dash cams, and it makes children happy. So go say hi. And he loves donations of coffee money.
All right, so I will cover mine. So tonight I do have that Wexit movement that I cover. It's technically during the same time period as Blind Girl, but I'm just posting it because, like I said, I want the group to have the freedom of getting their message out without it being construed by the media. A lot of what they're saying isn't as aggressive as they're portraying it. Like they've said stuff before that you can call them out on and fact check, absolutely. And they support it. It's just I just want them to have a free platform to share what their message actually is without allowing other people to make shit up about what they're saying. And that's what I do. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to watch it if you don't want to, but just so you know that it's there, go to see Blind Girl over mine, just because she's probably going to have more fun topics than what they're going to cover.
I was going to say, you stream over me, John. How could you? I thought we were friends.
Yeah, it's a group of over 50 people, but usually it's about 20 in the chat, and they dictate their time. So it's one of those things where I gave up on Scribe, whom I miss because he's great, but I had to give him up for these guys. And I mean, I'm not going to keep up with them forever. I'm probably going to give them till the end of Christmas, and then just be like, listen, you guys are fine, but I think I got to move on because I'm not really contributing to the group outside of the streams.
I was going to say, I need you to hook me up with Scribe because there was a bet a long time ago about how long it'd take me to make him lose his shit.
Whether or not you'd go all drunkle on him or ghastly on him, yeah.
And if I can just take a moment to address the wonderful, wonderful people who just subbed to my channel. Thank you so very much.
Oh. Is that where we're going with that? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Batman, and then you just went like kidney beans. So
No,
lava beans.
but I can do a pretty good Batman. Where is he?
Fava beans. Fava beans. I was like, I thought they were lima beans, but
Batman that I know.
I ate his liver with a nice Chianti and some fava beans.
yeah, that one. That
Because
one.
I'm Batman.
So the other thing too.
No different Batmans.
So the other thing too for Halloween, just so you know, whenever I do that that stream for Wexit, I am still playing Stardew in the background, just because like I like to keep my hands busy. So I did start an open multiplayer. So if you want to join, Random was playing with me last night. Once that stream's over, I don't know, I might help him out with his raft, just because there's been updates. But that's part of the reason why I haven't really been getting as many articles. It's just because like I've got 2 games on the go now, because they all update at the same time before Christmas, because that's how you make Christmas sales. And I'm like, well, if I want to promote my channel, now would be the time to do it, because then they're like, hey, can you promote my game for free? So, yeah, that's what's going on. And then I'm not sure about Thursday. I do try to set up for a Thursday stream, but everything's up in air, because like this week for me is kind of weird. Holidays. Do you have an elf on the shelf?
I have a Jew and a shoe.
That works. You know what? That would be the best prank, but like probably the most horrible thing to do to like somebody who doesn't follow Christmas is just put elves on the shelves in every room of their house. So everywhere they go, there's just this little shit staring at them.
I don't get you people and your Christmas stuff.
It's just torturing.
Yes, you people.
You know, the
goyim.
It's like all holidays. Like anything you could do to harass your friends in the best way. Yeah. Anyway, so any party words?
Bye, you guys.
Don't get sauce in your dick and don't pee on the shower curtain.
That too.
Which reminds me, Dick Thorns.
Dick Thorns. Or
Sorry, I was just looking at my Amazon shopping list.
Dick Thorns.
Yes.
Only if you barbecue them first, Mr. Misanthropic.
You can fit a lot of Jews in a shoe. Easy.
I just for the record, YouTube, I am a Jew, therefore I can make fun of my own, and therefore for the entirety of this stream, I do declare that Genty Maxi and Blind Girl both have a pass. So get wrecked.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So good night, guys. I'm gonna shut it down just because, like I said, I have to run around. So gotta get my groceries done, and I'm limited to my transportation. So
See you all on Saturday.
yeah. Oh, and yes, Saturday is when we host it on Functional's channel. So thank God you guys followed him, because I'm still sharing his stuff, but it, YouTube doesn't. So
Yeah. Eventually, people will get in the hang of listening to us rant and rave and say a lot. A. And you say a boot.
A boot.
No.
I'm not very good at it.
No.
No?
No.
Oh,
No,
not
named
Dick
their
Thorns, Dick Splinters. Jesus Christ. What is wrong
Stop
with me?
talking freaking Canadian there, bud. You're going to give them the wrong impression.
Take off, hoser.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's. I'm gonna end it now. Take
Okay.
off, Moser. That's the best line. All right.
Bye.
Bye.